We've been talking a lot about green infrastructure, and for my readers who are not in the profession, I just wanted for you to explain what green infrastructure is.
Sure. So, green, I divide it into, there's gray infrastructure, which is streets, piping, roofs, that exterior shell of the built environment that allows us to move lots of things around on quickly and easily. And the model from the Second World War has been blue, the water that moves across in cities that would end up in a surface water body like a river or lake or a wetland. The objective was to move it off that location as fast as possible and get it to that receiving water as fast as possible. And so when gray infrastructure was draining directly into blue infrastructure, that's what's led to all of our big problems with water quality and volume, all of these other issues. And so the green infrastructure is this combination of vegetation, soil, and obviously the stormwater to grow the vegetation. And the soil acts as a filter. The vegetation acts as a buffer in that not as much ever runs off when it's being absorbed by vegetation or simply wetting it or intercepting it. And then soil is a backup filter to that. So when it does reach the ground, it can get into the soil, and the soil will act as this filter. So that by the time we release that water into those surface water bodies, there will be less of it. And more importantly, most of the pollutants are concentrated in the first half to 1 inch of the storm, because that's the first part of the storm, and it mobilizes all the dirt and dust and etc. And so the green infrastructure is that part in between that mitigates the impacts of gray infrastructure on blue infrastructure.
Oh, okay.
So it could be it can be a park. It can be a green roof, or a green wall, or a living wall. And the one that I'm most particularly interested in, because it's the most common aspect of cities, is trees, urban forests. And they're the biggest thing within cities, and they have a history of being in cities. Most engineers will roll their eyes. Public works directors will kind of roll their eyes at rain gardens and things like that. But trees, they know that trees are part of the environment and that the policymakers expect them to be in there. We just want to put things in place so that that green infrastructure gets a chance to be more vigorous and basically be able to provide the ecological services, because we've given it enough room to grow, the proper kinds of soils, water aspect, all those kinds of things.